It's another Micro Action Monday on Studio Class. Hi divas, let's talk about invoices. I want you to be able to invoice like a pro. So let's talk about what that means, right? If you are not already using a system for creating invoices, now's the time. Even if you haven't done this yet, or you get paid regularly from whatever your ongoing gig is, it doesn't mean that you won't need a solution for invoices in the future. If you have done any kind of freelance music work or any kind of freelance creative work, at some point you will need to invoice someone. And now's the time to figure out what you're going to do. So with that in mind, for your Micro Action Monday, I want you to think through a couple of specific invoicing topics, right? Which is a schedule, a system, and reminders. So if you don't already have your system in place, like let's talk about that first, right? I want you to just pick a system that's very easy to use. So if you are not doing a ton of it, then you don't have to have a very involved system, right? But if you are doing a lot of it, then you're going to want to be able to track your clients, and you're going to be able to want to use something that's got it all kind of in one, right? So I think a lot of people will use, can use QuickBooks online for this. I use Wave apps for my invoicing system, and I really like that. So please feel free to use that, and then let them know that they should sponsor this podcast. and I think there's like HoneyBook and Notion. Maybe Notion does. There's a bunch of systems. So do a little bit of your own research to figure out which system you need, right? But I also prefer to have one all-in-one system where it can create the invoices, it can track the invoices, it can help do reminders, it can help you do reports, right? So that any of this, especially when it comes to things like tax time, you already have it in one place, and you are not creating them all individually, from a template in, spreadsheets, or you're creating them in as a Google Doc and sharing it that way. That can be a very good basic place to start from, right? So if you've done that, don't worry, that's not a problem. It's not bad. I just want you to have something that's a little bit more intuitive and integrated, right? So that you can grow your business, if you will. So when I think about that, the system side of this is having one place where you can, create invoices, but also keep client information safely. It's really great when your system can also process payments. You don't have to, though. You could use an integration, like integrate to PayPal or Venmo. But if it has, like Wave Apps has its own payment processing system, and that can be very helpful, because sometimes if you have ongoing clients, they can just pre-authorize payments, and it helps you get paid more quickly or on time regularly. And we always want that. So this also makes it really helpful if you do a masterclass, or you do a one-off with a university, and a lot of university systems will have you become a vendor or a supplier in their program and then invoice them, and so they can pay you that way. So you may not think that you need this, but this is one of those reasons why it's good to have. So just have it set up. You can have your payment information. You have your address. It creates the invoices that look very professional and clean. So you feel like a real business, because you are a real business. So that's the part of the system that I want is, right? You've got your client information. You've got a very easy and intuitive way to create invoices. You also can input your offers. We've talked about this before. Offers client systems makes up a generous portion of my framework for coaching clients. And when you think about your offers, right, set it up so that it's like voice lessons for the current year, right? And every voice lesson you do for 60 minutes has its own price point, right? One that you do for 30 minutes has a different price point. And if you do this by year, then you can also start to integrate, well, I'm going to raise my prices regularly or consistently, every, X number of, or whatever the allotted time is, right? You are the person who chooses when you raise your rates. I just want to make sure that you have a plan for doing that regularly so that you are increasing your fees as you become more experienced and more of an expert in your field. And also it just rises along with inflation, right? So if gas prices can go up, then your fees can go up, honey. Knock, knock, knock. Real quick, divas. I know you're here because you love the clarity that comes from my micro action episodes. Plus, you get inspired and motivated hearing from working artists all across our field on how they made, maintain, and grow their careers. Now, you can be a part of the fuel that makes it all happen. Give Studio Class a boost by heading over to patreon.com/mezzo-Ihnen, that's MEZZOIHNEN, and join the Sybaritic Camerata. I also want to take a moment to shout out and thank Chris, James, Josh, Sarah, Elise, and Renee. Your support means the world to me. Thanks so much for helping me keep this podcast going. Now, let's get back to the show. So, make sure that your offers are in there. This is another beautiful way to just kind of remind yourself that you charge money for these things that you do. So, if you are expanding some of your offers, right? Say you've been teaching voice lessons, but now you're also going to teach theory mentoring on the side or something like that. Not on the side, as another offer. So when you add that as an offer to your invoicing system, it just becomes more real for you, right? And then it also allows you to help sell that because the infrastructure inside your business is ready, right? So if this is kind of a tangent, but if you are ready to add an offer, put that offer into your invoicing system so that it becomes real for you. Okay, so we've got that part. The sending of invoices is another part of the system, right? I want the system to be able to send the invoices via email. I also like a system in which you can set up recurring invoices. So if you work with ongoing clients or you work with students week after week, month after month, etc., that you could set up recurring invoices for them as well, if that's the easiest way for you to manage, their payments month to month, etc. And then reminders is another big part of your entire invoicing process, but particularly the system. I would love for you to have a system that does automatic reminders for you if you want it. So you can turn it on or off. You can just say, yes, I do want my clients or my students or my commissioners to get a reminder that their payment is due either before it or after the payment is due. They can get a little nice cordial reminder from you via email and they go, oh yeah, I am going to do that. Here, I just had to connect these dots. Great, ready to go. So those are important aspects of your invoicing system, right? And then I really just wanted to talk about schedule, which is, are you actively putting invoicing or that side of admin into your schedule? Where does that go? Do you do it every week? Do you do it every 2 weeks, etc.? What is the best thing for your business? So sometimes if you are doing performances, but they're happening more sporadically, then give yourself like a monthly check-in to say, like, are there any outstanding invoices that I need to follow up on? This is important, especially for tracking things like if you've worked at multiple universities and they have slower payment systems, you might forget that somebody is supposed to be paying you. And so having this in your schedule that says, check on outstanding invoices reminds you to go back and say like, oh, I need to get a hold of that accounts payable or processing department at such and such university or college to make sure that I get my check for this masterclass that I did. So I want you to be thinking about that. What is your schedule for creating and following up on and processing invoices? What does your business demand of you, right? When I was running a studio, I did monthly invoices, and that was really helpful at that point in time because I could also track lessons paid and used, right? So, and I want you to do the same thing. If you're teaching a studio, what is the interval at which you do invoices for all of your clients or all of the students in the studio so that it's easy and efficient for you as the business owner so that you can spend more time doing what you love to do, which is teach, or make more music, or do whatever else you want. I don't know, cook, go dance, lay in the sun, whatever it is. So that's it, divas. I want you to think about schedule, systems, reminders, all when it comes to living your best, invoicing like a pro life. And so with that, stay sparkly inside and out. Thanks for joining me for Micro Action Monday. Again, I'm Megan Ihnen, and you can find me on all the socials at mezzo-Ihnen. That's IHNEN. Did you know that studio class is part of the Sybaritic Singer? It is. And if you liked this episode, you're going to love my 29 Days to Diva series. That's on SybariticSinger.com. And if you liked this episode, will you please consider leaving us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast? Thanks. It means a lot to me.